Hey class, it's Ashley and I'm back with another mentoring moment. And today I'm going to talk about the fact that it's not your resume and really talk to you about ways that you can make major moves in your career and actually drive impact. Too often, professional women come to me and they're like, Ashley, I need to update my resume. I need to work on my cover letter strategy. I need to update my LinkedIn. And quite frankly, all those things are true. At some point in your career development to advance your career, you will need to update your resume. You will need to update your LinkedIn. You will need to have a cover letter that speaks to your expertise. But quite frankly, you're a little ways off from resume updates and resume critiques. At this point in your career, with the $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 salary increases that you're looking for, it's not your resume, sis. And I know you've been, defaulting to, I need to update my resume. I need to update my resume as like a, panic move for making more money and having more impact in your career. But I find, as an expert level professional who has served hundreds of women across the course of my career and really helped women earn more money and have more impact in their career, updating their resume is the least of their worries. What professional women need to be focused on is way more than resume, and actually well before we even dive into a job search. There's so many other strategies that you need to be employing in your career development to really drive impact, and the resume is the least of your worries, sis. I promise you, it's the easiest part of any of my programs and my serving women. It's rarely about the resume. It's actually about applying strategy to your career development so that you don't have to apply for a million jobs. And so today I'm really excited to just talk to you about some of these misconceptions around I just need to update my resume and why that's actually not the strategy that you need to start with when it comes to making more money and having more impact in your career. I'm going to walk you through the things that you need to be considering far before you start looking at that piece of paper, far before you start updating that Word document or that PDF. Girl, there's some work that we need to do. So if you're hyped for that conversation, just throw some hearts up on the screen. I just want to know if you're excited for this conversation, if you're excited for this walkthrough, and if you're going to be here with me in today's live. Feel free to grab a notebook and take some notes. I'll be sharing some really specific and targeted strategy with you today, things that you can apply right away. So this is one to take notes and to really think through if you have these pieces in place so that we can actually take action in our career. So let's get started. So the fact is your resume isn't the problem, particularly with the women that I serve. I typically attract, women who have completed a bachelor's degree that have a minimum of 5 years of working experience in their current industry or the industry or related experience to an industry they desire to go in. I'm typically serving women who maybe have master's degrees or in master's degrees programs. I often serve women who have doctoral degrees. I have a lot of mentees who work in marketing, in HR, in public service. I serve a lot of educators or educational administrators. And so their resume isn't the problem, right? Like they have strong materials, obviously as a mentor, I do detailed audits of my mentees, resume, cover letter, LinkedIn. We update those materials. Like that is an important part of a successful, job search and career advancement. And we do that, we do that in my mentor, Me Accelerator. There's an entire session about that. But I'll be honest with you, that is probably the easiest part of my programs, right? Because most of my mentees have been really thoughtful about their resume. They've been really thoughtful about, that piece of paper. They think that piece of paper means everything. And so that's the first thing they think to update. That's the first thing that they think to revise. There's a lot of templates out there, for resumes. And while half of them aren't very good, there are a lot of resources out there for resume stuff, right? And so that's the least of the worries, right? Yes, as a mentor, I'm absolutely going to audit your materials. I'm going to make sure that your materials are at the top of their game. And I'm going to make sure that your materials reflect your expertise in an impactful way. And absolutely, employers are going to look at your materials. Like, I'm not saying they're not going to look at them. I'm just saying it's not the problem. For most of you, your resume is in okay shape, right? Like, it needs improvements. We're going to work on that in our relationship together with me as your mentor, but it is the least of your worries, sis. It's not a major issue. You have so many more problems than your resume, quite frankly, and it's not a major issue. There's so much more that we need to focus on. And so then the question is actually like, okay, then what do I need to focus on? Like, what is the thing that I need to be focused on? And what I want to walk you through is the gaps in your thought process when it comes to materials. So I think that a lot of people, they really lean into the resume because it's like something they can do. They can take action on. Like, they can update a Word document. They can update a PDF. They can, use fancy templates to try to make it look cool. Maybe, add some graphics in there, add their picture in there in the suit, like people feel like, okay, the resume, I can do that. That's something I can do. That's tangible, right? But so often professional women decline and don't want to do the hard work, the introspective work, the work that doesn't feel like work. Like, people want to do the work that feels like work. They want to feel like they're doing something, that there's a transaction, right? But often people don't want to do the hard work of introspection, right? And that's what I'm going to make you do as a mentor. I'm going to actually make you do the hard work and the transformative work. Because quite frankly, a lot of you all have paid for resume updates and you ain't seeing no results. You've paid for somebody to look at your resume. Somebody who work in HR who can look at your resume. Like, you've done that and you're still driving no results in your career. You're still stuck in a role that you'd rather not be in. You're still pretty significantly unsatisfied in your career. And if that resonates with you, just type a yes in the chat. If you got a friend who work in HR who you usually go to for questions, if your cousin, mama, best friend used to update resumes, and so you had her look at yours for $25 or $50, that's not enough. Right? That's not enough. For the $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 salary increases that I'm able to help my mentees achieve is not because I updated their resume. It's not because I updated their resume. That ain't it, right? And so I want to just invite you into a deeper level of transformation and getting your resume done. Having somebody write you a bomb cover letter because they used to be an English major. That ain't enough to get to the level that you desire. Not where you going in your career. That ain't enough. That ain't gonna cut it, right? Think deeply about what you're good at, right? To be more strategic about what you're good at and what you're doing at this stage in your career, right? No longer can we just be like, well, I just need to get a new job. I just got to get out of here. I can't take this job no more. These people, and just like, I got to jump. I got to bounce. I got to get out of here. We've got to stop trauma jumping from job to job to job because somebody made us mad, because we didn't like the way they talked to us, because they disrespected us, because they ain't gonna talk. Like, we got to stop trauma jumping every time we experience a trauma, every time somebody make us mad at work, every time. Like, we've got to stop doing that, and we need to be much more strategic about our careers at this stage in the game. And that strategy starts with being very clear on exactly what you're good at, right? And being able to articulate what you're good at in a meaningful way. Too often we're like, I'm a team player. I'm a hard worker. Don't nobody work harder than me. I'm really creative. I'm good at bringing people together. Everybody like being on my team, but you're not articulating the problem that you solve. You're not articulating the problem that you solve. You're not articulating for employers how what I do is transformative in your organization. And that's why my mentees see those, mid-5-figure salary increases, because I'm able to teach them how to speak to the problem that they solve for organizations. The problem isn't your resume. It's that you don't know what problem you solve. You don't know how to speak to your ability to transform an organization based on your skill set. And organizations are looking for problem solvers. Every organization has problems. And in fact, the job description, that thing that you see online, that's just the employer listing what their problems are. That job description is just a list of organizational problems. And your job as a professional, your job as a job seeker is to speak to how you solve those problems, or how you can solve those problems, or speak to your demonstrated experience in solving those problems for other organizations and how you're delighted to solve them for their organization as well at a premium price, right? And you need to be able to speak to that to yourself and be able to speak to it to an employer in a clear, concise, and confident way before you ever touch a resume. Before you ever go and update your resume and type in some fancy words about how you good at this and good at that and, quantify your expertise, you need to be able to speak to your expertise and the problems you solve verbally. And that's such a significant missing piece for so many professional women, is that they don't know what they're good at. They don't know what problem they solve. And they don't know how to articulate their ability to solve that problem to employers. So then what ends up happening is that they're super focused on updating their resume, but the resume is full of fluff and fancy words, and it doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't speak to the problem that they solve. And so employers are like, next, next, next. But when you can actually articulate the problem that you solve, employers are like, oh, well, she can help us do this because she's talked about how she did it for this organization. And she can help us do this because she talked about how she did it in this organization. And she can solve this problem for us because, she has demonstrated experience solving that problem. So that creates a whole different ball game. No longer do you have to beg and plead somebody to, pick me, but you become the box. You're no longer fitting yourself into a box for employers to consider, but you become the box. And then you can pick and choose what employers you want to work for, what problems you desire to solve at this stage in your career. Too often we go out job searching, trying to apply our resume to any job who might have us, when instead we need to be so secure in the problems that we solve, and we go out and we say, oh, okay, I see they have this list of problems. I can solve those problems. Okay, I see they have these kind of problems. I ain't trying to solve them problems at this stage in my career. Oh, they have these kind of problems. I've already solved those kind of problems at another stage in my career. I'm no longer interested in doing that. I'll pass. We need to move out of this desperate space of, oh, I hope they pick me. I hope they choose me. I hope they consider me. Let me address my resume to, speak directly to what I think they want. And instead, make sure that your resume speaks to the problems that you already solve, which will attract employers to you rather than having to go and chase employers down for anything that they may give you. Another thing that I see, and when it comes to job searching that professional women are really getting hung up on, is that you're also not applying for jobs that you want, right? Just throw some hearts up on the screen if you ever apply for a job that you didn't even want. If you was just like, well, I guess I could do it. Well, maybe when we get to negotiations, I can convince them that, I can work remotely, or maybe I can convince them to pay me more. And even though you already see the salary range, you don't want this job. You don't want to work from them people. You don't want to work on that side of town. You don't want to move or whatever it is, but you can continue to apply for jobs to hope that you get in the interview and then you can convince them to maybe put you on. Girl, stop playing yourself. What if let's say you do get to the interview. Now you're sitting in front of these people's face, lying and telling them you want a job that you actually don't want. Let's operate in integrity. Let's commit to operating in integrity, and let's actually do work that we actually want to do. Let's only apply for jobs that we actually want. Like I was in office hours on Mondays from 12 to 1 p.m. I have office hours, weekly office hours with my mentees. And, in addition to the weekly strategy sessions that we have, I also have office hours, which allow my mentees to do drop in, stop in with me. And it's really awesome because it's an opportunity for my mentees to ask questions, to go deeper in the homework that I assign them every week. And one of my mentees is in an interview process right now. She recently had the first interview for a job. And in the interview, they asked her, they said, what is your salary range for this role, right? Like, what do you, how much do you desire to make for this role? And she told the people, what did she tell me? She said, I told them 60 to 70. And so I said, okay, but how much do you really want to make to, do this kind of work? Like, how much money do you want to make? And she was like, at baseline, like, I can't take anything less than 75. I can't make anything less than 75. And so I told her, why did you lie? Why did you lie? Like, your budget commands a baseline of $75,000 annually, but you got in the interview and lied. Girl, it ain't your resume, it's you. You not operating in integrity. You ain't got in these people's face and sat up there and bold-faced lied when you know your budget, you know your mortgage mortgage requires for you, you know them bills require for you to make a minimum of $75,000 annually, and you went up there in the people's face and lied and told them, oh, I can do 60 to 70. Stop acting desperate. Just go apply for jobs that are actually going to pay you for your expertise. And I know a lot of y'all like, Ashley, it ain't that easy. You don't understand. I do understand. I literally do. I do this, y'all. I do this. Stop lying to employers. Stop applying for jobs that you don't want, and actually learn how to speak to your expertise so that you can command the salary that you truly desire. Let's commit to stop lying. Let's commit to operating in extreme integrity, and let's commit to getting the help that we need to speak to our expertise, to be bold enough to say what we want and to actually get it. Because I ain't selling you a dream. I'm not saying just go and tell them whatever you know. It's about strategy. It's about being strategic. It's about being intentional. It's about approach. There's a way to speak to it in a way that you'll be able to command whatever kind of salary you desire. But you can't go at it by lying, and you can't go at it by just saying, well, this is what I want. This is what it's got to be. You got to be strategic. And as a mentor, my job is to help you be strategic. My job is to help you only apply for jobs that you want, only go on interviews where you can commit to tell the truth, and then be able to successfully and confidently negotiate salary offers so that you get exactly what you want. No more compromising to the point that you don't even want the job no more. No more, lying and being nervous and being overwhelmed. There's a strategy to this stuff. And, it's one of those things where, there's no like adult 101, right? Like nobody teaches you how to position yourself as an expert. Nobody teaches you how to speak to the degrees that they give you. Colleges and universities too often, help professionals or help, students earn degrees, but don't teach them how to use them. My job is to teach you how to use it so that you can actually leverage it to get what you want in your career, right? And what I see a lot in the marketplace is that like professional women don't recognize that this is a job seeker's market. This is a job seeker's market. The ball is in your court, baby. It's in your court, but it's your responsibility to know how to play ball. It's your responsibility to be in the skills classes. It's your responsibility to know how to make the jump shot. It's your responsibility to know how to catch the rebound. But if you just out there dribbling and wide-eyed and don't know what to do, somebody gonna steal the ball. So it's really important for you to be strategic about the moves that you're making in your career so that you can be intentional about getting what you want at this stage in your career. And without intention and without strategy, you do go and spend, hundreds, maybe even hundreds of dollars updating your resume and don't get nothing out of it. Without strategy, you apply for any and every job and putting yourself out there and networking with no strategy and no intention. Right? Similarly, I was talking to a mentee yesterday in office hours, and she was like, Ashley, in my program in session 4, I teach my mentees how to job search. And a big part of that is teaching my mentees what it means to network with intention. Right? Too often people tell you network, but I actually don't really believe in the traditional model of networking. I don't have time, and quite frankly, neither do you, to be going around meeting random people and talking to them about their favorite coffee drink and, they dog. That's purposeless. If I'm a network, I'm going to do it with an outcome, with a strategy. And in session 4 of the Mentor Me Accelerator, I actually teach my mentees how to network with intention, right? And I have to use it as a strategy to actually get things done, not just be meeting people for the sake of meeting people, or just be going around begging everybody to put you on, when really you have a lot of skill sets and you just don't know how to speak to them. But if you did, could network in an impactful way. And so she was saying, Ashley, I'm wanting to position myself for a higher level role, right? Like within my current organization. And I do help a lot of my mentees, move up in their current organizations. And so she was like, Ashley, who do I need to talk to, or how do I talk to, people in my current organization to make sure that they know that I want to be a candidate for these higher level positions? And so we talked through strategy on that, right? It's not her resume. Right? Of course, at some point, I'm going to look at her resume and we'll go line by line and we'll make sure that her materials speak to her expertise. But we ain't on that. Right now, it's about applying strategy to make sure you're speaking to the right people, to make sure you're speaking to the problems you solve for the organization already, and how you're excited about the opportunity to solve a higher level of problems that the organization already has. That's why working with an expert level mentor is a game changer, because otherwise you waste your time having coffee with everybody in the C-suite level and thinking that's going to get you put on, when really you can have 2 conversations. They'll create a position for you and pay you $20K more than you currently make to do it. But it's about strategy. Too often we waste time and money doing everything else than what we're supposed to be doing. And quite frankly, I'm not saying that working with me is a shortcut. You're going to work, right? Like, you're going to work, you're going to do the work, but you're also going to get results. I mean, if you take the shortcut and keep updating your resume and finding new resume templates that you think gonna work, that maybe is a shortcut. But if a shortcut got you going in circles of nowhere, is it really a shortcut, or are you wasting time and money? And by wasting money, I mean, like, you still stuck in this role that's paying you $15,000 less than what you should be. That's wasting a lot of money, because I know a lot of y'all could do a lot with an extra $15,000 annually, right? I'm sure you can think of the things that you can do with an additional $15,000 annually. Updating your resume isn't the problem. You're not applying for the right roles. You don't know what problems you solve, and you're not sure how to articulate yourself in a way that's going to make employers take notice. But that's the powerful thing about mentorship, is that it's about refinement. It's about molding. It's about positioning you to a higher level of leadership. And that's my role as a mentor. My literal job is to help you use what you already have to get what you want. Because so many of you have years of experience. You have degrees and credentials. You have knowledge and skill sets that you aren't currently using and that are kind of wasting away at a job that's not paying you well and that's not treating you well. And now it's affecting your mental health. Now it's affecting your ability to live your life out loud. Now it's affecting your friendships, your relationship with your partner, because you mad and angry and frustrated and irritable because of work. You're wasting life updating your resume. Like, that's not going to get the results you think it is going to get. And quite frankly, you know it ain't going to get it because you've been doing it and it ain't working. It's not working. You need to come up with you don't need to come up with, because I have the strategy. You need to invest in a strategy that's actually going to work. And as a mentor, I'm excited to invite you into that. And there isn't a career development strategist out here, and I know this for a fact because I know my industry very well. There is not another career development strategist out here that's driving the type of results that I drive for my mentees. In a little over 2 years, I've helped my mentees garner more than $700,000 in salary increases, raises, and bonuses. By the end of the year, my mentees will have made more than $1 million after working with me. There is no other career development strategist who's driving this kind of result for professional women in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership. And you know that too, because I know I'm probably not the only career professional you follow online. So I know you see that, right? And so let's stop playing around with the I need to update my resume lie. And let's actually get the kind of help that we need, right? Right now, there are 2 ways to work with me. You can apply to work with me in my mentor, Me Accelerator. It is a 8-week career advancement program for professional women. It's a program that you probably know the most about. It's one that I talk about a lot, and it is a really powerful and transformative way for you to make more money and have more impact in your career. The second way is for you to attend Mentor Me Live. It's a 2-day executive coaching experience directly with me as your mentor, walking you through career development strategies, many of which that I teach in my programs live in person in March 2022. What's amazing about Mentor Me Live is 2 things. One, it's in person, which is really awesome. I regularly teach the Accelerator online. So this is an opportunity for you to work with me in person. If you're one of those people who need to be right there sitting in front of the teacher, soaking it in, then I want you to attend that. What's also amazing about Mentor Me Live is that there's going to be pre-event training sessions. So if you're like, Ashley, I'm excited about Mentor Me Live, but girl, I can't wait till March 2022. I need help now. What's amazing about Mentor Me Live is that you'll have the opportunity to be in pre-event training sessions with me in December, January, and February so that we can start working on your career more immediately. So if that's the kind of help that you need, you can apply to attend Mentor Me Live. It's an amazing experience. And also with that program, it's a lower level investment than working with me in the accelerator. So if you're like, I really am excited about this, but I can't invest, in the Mentor Me Accelerator, the Mentor Me Live might be a better fit for you because it is a lower level investment. I'm so excited to work with you. I'm so excited to serve as your mentor. And I'm so excited to help you see that, girl, it ain't your resume. We got a lot of other things to cover, and I'm excited to help you cover them and take more immediate action in your career by serving as your mentor. Apply to work with me today on my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. I'm so excited to serve you. Thanks so much for attending today's live, and I'll see you soon. Bye.